You have a specific story to tell. What is that story?
When I got started, David, back in May of 2021, I was re-entering the insurance industry after a 20-year hiatus. I worked for MetLife Resources and sold 403B plans to sort of the general agent looking for clients, looking for sales. This is new to me. And so I'm shortly going to be retiring as a pastor after 20 years of a small country church. And I wanted to spend my time in retirement helping people. So what motivated me to get back into the insurance industry was the final expense issues. Over the years, I sat down with so many people to make arrangements, funeral arrangements for a loved one, and they had no idea where they were going to get the money to pay for the funeral. That was heartbreaking to me. And so I thought, well, what I'll do in retirement is I'll focus on helping seniors who don't have any money and don't know how to leave something for their kids and their grandkids. In good faith, I really dove into that. Over time, I haven't had much success, which has surprised me because I love people. I care about people. All my life, I've invested 51 years in ministry, and over that period of time, because one of the churches I've served is quite small, so I had to have other jobs. That's why I got into the securities industry. That's why I got into the insurance industry. I owned a mortgage company. I'm a pretty good communicator, and I care about people. Over this last year,
What company you went into? How did you get into this business?
did a lot of internet searching. I eventually got started with a company that recruits, I believe, now about 1 out of every 3 agents getting into the industry. And I really thought I liked their values. I did spend a lot of money on leads that I bought directly from the company. Then they had a bunch of vendors that not only had leads, but also had CRM programs that would, sort of drive leads to your computer or whatever. But in the course of, from May of 2021 to the end of 2021, I believe I spent close to $9,000 in leads and other vendors that were promising to deliver to me leads that could be easily converted into sales. But when I
Robert,
started calling,
let me ask you,
yeah,
was the name of the company Family First Life?
yes, it was. Hmm. Yeah,
When you
and
started with them and when you started with them in May, were you influenced by their promises on their online advertising?
well, yeah, and they have a lot of videos showing that there were a lot of agents who were very, very, very successful. I'm gullible, but I know and understand that there might be some, but there's a lot of agents who never even make it past the first 6 months or a year, and a lot of that is due to financial issues because they spend a lot of time and a lot of money buying leads that go nowhere. And so that's been a big concern of mine going forward. I have some resources, so I was happy to, really spend the money because I saw my future in this business, but it hasn't materialized. I've moved on now. I'm focusing more on property and casualty, that kind of thing. But my
How much
motivation was
how
to help
much
seniors.
how much money did you spend on leads?
I probably spent close to $9,000 on leads and vendor issues where they promise to deliver to your doorstep, sale ready leads.
This $9,000, were these all leads that went into the FFL CRM?
No, because I used other CRMs as well as FFL, but I used primarily the vendors that they recommended as being great, and a lot of them will, they're almost direct transfers, so they got somebody on the line that said they want to, buy a policy, and so I would visit with them, and I enjoyed
I get you.
visiting with the people, but very often, they had heard from many, many, many sales people, to try and sell them. And
The leads
they had an
o
interest.
of the $9,000 of leads that you bought during this period, what percentage were from FFL recommended lead vendors?
Oh, probably 6 to 8,000.
The lead vendors that weren't recommended by FFL, did they go into the FFL CRM?
No, one of the things that I found hard to deal with is some of the leads that I bought from FFL were leads that could be targeted to various counties in Minnesota. And so I'd buy these leads, and then I'd get calling, and the information was so outdated most of the people thought I was, trying to pull a fast one on them. And a lot of the information wasn't complete. And so I went on internet searches to find these individuals. And I discovered that some of them had died 3 to 5 years before I was trying to find information on them. So the leads were, very, very old. And it's obvious to me that they'd probably been sold over and over again with a lead that's that aged and was promoted as a pretty recent lead that I should be able to convert into
Were
sales.
the leads that you bought from the FFL recommended lead vendors that went into their CRM realm of when they were generated? Were you told,
Most
hey, this is an
most of them no, but I tried
do
some
they
lead vendors that would, that you'd buy the leads and you put them in the system, and then they would generate calls with computer programming, so it would sound like it was a call from a salesperson, but it was really just a computer generated interview.
right?
And then, the people, to satisfy, the calls that they were getting again and again, said, oh yeah, I'd be interested in hearing from this person. And then, the system would even set up appointments. I didn't get anybody that said they wanted an appointment when I called them back that ever wanted the appointment. I think they were just trying to satisfy those emails and those phone calls that they were getting that were computer generated.
When you bought fiber, when you first came into FFL system, were you encouraged to buy leads?
Oh yeah, sure.
How much did you spend on a week? Let's say every week when you first got in.
I don't know. I'd buy 300 or 500 leads at a time. It was hard to tell how many in a week, but I mean, I love talking to people, so I would be faithful in calling. But one of the groups that I worked with within Family First, one of the people I came to appreciate a lot, said he was spending 10 to 12 hours a day calling, to set up enough leads so that somebody could have an appointment and close the sale. So that was a challenge I never thought I would
I get you.
face.
At the end of this time, where you spent between $6,000 and $8,000 from them and $9,000 total, how much sales did you make?
Zero, which was hard for me to believe because I really love people. And I'm a pretty good communicator, and I've spent my whole life serving people. And my motivation is to better their situation. So it's disappointing
What
to invest
was
that
it
much of your
only
time and
was
energy.
the leads that you bought from other vendors not associated with FFL? Was that only after you did not succeed with FFL that you look for something different?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the first 6 to 8
Well,
thousand
so,
was FFL.
no, a lot of it was I was still with FFL, but I wanted to try other lead vendors
I get
because
you.
I thought,
I get you.
I've got to find a
Maybe
better way to do this.
the leads that you bought that are in the FFL CRM, do you have access to those leads today?
No, I don't.
There's you
Because,
assume that there did you get shut out of the FFL CRM?
well, sure, when I left the company. Yeah.
And they're very well ordered with your phone calls and how many times you've called and your conversations. In this CRM, you would put notes,
Yeah, I take notes. You can
and they would be
enter
in the
them in the
CRM.
CRM.
They
Right.
would be so all the information is there. It would be very easy for FFL to transfer that CRM information to someone else.
Oh, sure. I'm sure. Well, I'm not that technology savvy, but I would think they're the one that set up the system, and they have, you know, pretty
That
good control
capability.
over everything that's in there. Yeah.
Once you found out that you were calling people that died multiple years ago in bad information, did you contact your leads FFL or the lead
Well,
company?
I contacted people I worked with in terms of what team I was with, and they were surprised that, the information was that old because
Did
people
they
had sent back a lead card, and then you generate the lead for you off of that card, but it doesn't have all the information you need, to visit with the client. So I would try and do my own research, and was stunned that the people I was looking for uh, were no longer on this earth.
did 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 your team leaders recommend that you request a refund?
No, I don't think they
What
ever
was
give
the mi-
refunds. I don't believe.
when you bought these leads? How did you buy the FFL leads? Were they from the CRM or you called an external lead company?
I did both. you can buy leads right from the CRM, and then begin cultivating a relationship with the people and leads. And so a lot of it, you just
Okay.
there's plenty of opportunities to just click on the right
Look, my
button and you
question
can
is,
buy the leads.
so there's a place on your CRM where you could say, click, I want to buy leads, and you input your credit card. Is that how it works?
Right, and you tell them how many leads you want, where you want them. They had a certain, I forgot what they were called, but you could target counties or cities within your
I was
state where you can buy leads.
I was told I was told about instant internet leads for $11. Did you buy any of those?
Oh, I must have. I was trying to do everything. I
I
think
was
so.
told that those leads are exclusive. The leads that you
No,
purchased, did you believe some of them were exclusive?
uh, no, because the people that I talked to, many of them didn't recognize the fact that they had told somebody that they wanted a call from somebody from
Okay.
that
Okay, let me
insurance vendor.
rephrase it. When you bought these leads on the internet from their CRM, were you under the impression that these are lead companies owned by FFL or majorly associated with FFL or completely independent lead companies?
Well, my impression was they're an independent lead company, but FFL had found them to be helpful to agents, and so they recommended those companies to agents. And they would be more sophisticated in terms of the technology that they'd use, whereas with FFL, I just get the lead and then I'd start calling and doing whatever with that lead. But the other ones were more sophisticated, and some of the leads I was spending $50 a lead, and so I'd have to, if I wanted the 10 leads, it cost me $500.
I
And
get
I
you.
tried to do that a couple of times a week.
Did your team leader say that these are independent lead companies not associated with FFL?
No,
So how did you know that they were not associated with, owned or controlled by FFL?
I don't know that. They were
Oh, you don't know.
recommended by
You're just hanging.
FFL.
Oh, they were just recommended, but they happened to be in their CRM, and it was very easy to input your credit card.
No, it's not in the CRM. You had to contact those vendors independently, but they were recommended by FFL.
I was told by other people, or maybe I recall in the CRM there was a button that says "Click here to buy leads" or more
Yeah,
leads. Did that button
yeah,
That's what I meant by
yeah,
in the CRM.
yeah. You can, but some of the other vendors are not in the CRM. They they recommended you could contact them to buy leads, but I did buy a significant number of
Oh,
leads
I see.
by just utilizing the FFL CRM
Okay, so the
because it was very easy to do.
FFL CRM had certain companies. What were the name of the companies inside the FFL CRM?
They weren't within the FFL CRM, but you have all kinds of emails you get from the IMO, and they have recommended vendors if you want to buy more leads, if you don't want to buy them off your CRM.
I get you.
And
And
yeah,
those companies that they recommended had easy access to the FFL CRM. Is that correct?
I don't know because I didn't get those leads via the CRM at FFL. They just sent me the leads, and I worked them.
I'm talking specifically about the leads that entered FFL CRM. Certain
Yeah,
companies
those
had access to that automatic entrance to the CRM.
I don't know because the leads
I
that I
believe
bought
one of
from MML, FFL, I just get them by clicking on the CRM, but then they would send me emails about here's some targeted areas in your state. These leads you can access, and they're exclusive. These were a lot of the leads where they were at least 3 to 5 years old because I'd follow up, and a number of
oh,
the people that I wanted to call were dead.
I get you. Do you remember some of these lead company names
I don't
that you bought?
remember them.
Was one of them called Leadrilla?
No, I don't remember that one. I'm trying so hard to make a go of it. I was doing all kinds of stuff trying to buy leads. I don't think any of them turned out to be what they were claimed to be. I would feel if they were leads that people really expressed genuine interest in buying final expense insurance, I guess I would have a pretty good chance of closing sales because my whole ambition was to benefit them regardless of
I
how
get you.
little or how
I
much
get okay,
commission I
Robert.
made.
What we're trying to do is establish the fact, which I was told by other people. Certain lead companies are very much associated with FFL, like
Yeah, and I
practically
can't tell you
owned by
that.
FFL.
Yeah, I can't tell you that's the case
Okay,
because they just recommended companies, but I don't know what the relationship between that company and FFL was.
like Birch told me is that they say that the lead companies aren't owned by a FFL, but they are.
Yeah, so it can be a scam
Okay,
because I had no idea that they were owned by FFL, but I don't know that
but
for sure.
but you were told that they're not owned by FFL.
No, I wasn't. It just said
You weren't told.
here's a source of leads. They send you
Okay,
emails or they have these videos, and here's some lead vendors, or you can just buy them
okay.
from FFL.
So you could buy leads from FFL or the lead vendors.
No, these were leads that were generated by FFL, and you could just buy them. They didn't say where they came from.
Leads that specifically went into their CRM. I'm interested in that.
You know, there was a spot in the CRM where you could buy leads, and then you just downloaded them, and they would send you an invoice.